Yeah. Or do you want to go directly to the next topic, or would you like to spend some more time on?
What's it? You go to the next topic because I did watch The Hangout, but I can't remember all of it. I
Mhm.
do remember you disagreeing about generalizations and stuff.
So the first
So
question I asked him, like after we were stuck on the definition, the first question I asked him was, why do incels exist? And his response was, because women don't like men, because women hate men.
right.
What do you
So
think about that?
again, hatred and like is a spectrum. Okay, so I do think women can have an affection for men and they could sort of love them, but women don't love men nearly as much as men love women. There's an emotional affection imbalance between them, and I do know from personal experience that women can be all lovey-dovey, and they could just switch it off overnight as well. Like I've got observation as well of other people. So and I do think a lot of women, I don't know what the percentage is, but I do think it's at least a large minority. I do think a lot of women dislike men and hate them and use them and abuse them on some level. Okay, and women practice ostracization tactics against men and marginalize them. So I think let's say like 20% of women are like man-hating feminists, right? Okay, that's still a large minority. That's a lot of women. And also, there's another problem as well. How many women hate men is not the main problem. The thing is, the rest of the women who don't really hate men, they're enablers as well. They don't do anything about it. They're enablers. They're indifferent to it. So they might as well hate women as men as they might as well be man haters as well for all the good they do, right?
I mean, there is basically like, I think we have to separate two things here. I think it's really important that we
Right.
separate out, because there is like two statements that are being, he basically makes like two statements at once. So I asked him, why
Yeah.
do incel why like, I want to know his opinion why incels exist. And basically he's saying, because like, that the reason for that is that women hate men, and by that he's implying, like, he's putting on a new thesis that women hate men, right? So in his brain, it's already a given, maybe, that women hate men, like, as a
Yeah.
general concept. But to the rest of us, it's a little bit of a it's a very strange, like, it's an interesting concept. Like, even
Right.
for you, you wouldn't even go so far, and even though you're like in a boat with them. So
Hey,
maybe maybe first we can just talk about, like, how does woman hating men, like, let's just take it for granted that that's the
yeah.
case. Like, how does
Yeah.
that explain inceldom existing? Because, like, I know
Okay.
that,
So
sorry, just as another add-on to that, like, I know
yeah.
that, like, most incels would even like, most people would disagree with that, not even like liberals and blah blah blah, just like incels straight up would disagree with that, because they would just say, hey, why? They like chads, right? They like handsome guys, they like guys with status, right? So why would
Yeah.
hating men wouldn't make any sense, right? Like, because they're choosing
Okay.
just different men. It's not that they're not choosing
Okay.
men, right?
Again, hatred and like is a spectrum, right? And manipulative people, users, you use the thing. This is very complicated. This is why absolute terms like this are complicated. But person who's a user, let's remove gender out of this for just now because I want to use this as an analogy. A person who's a user in a relationship is using someone and taking advantage of them. They could probably still have feelings of love at some point, and then relationships over and they got no more use for them. They probably dislike them or hate them, right? And also, there's different levels of hate. There's hatred, like I hate you, I want you dead, you're scum, you all have to die. But there's also just indifference and callousness, like oh, I don't care about you, I can leave you to your own fate, you're of no concern to me. Do you see what I mean? So it's
Yes,
not as
but I
simple as
yes, but I think that you're like you're working on the wrong spot here. Like, because, like, the first thing that we would try to examine is, like, let's say we don't try to see if, like let's just compare reality uh
yeah,
for many incels. Like, reality for many incels is that they're not being picked,
yes,
and other men are being picked, right?
yes. Okay, so
And so
I want to
how
clear
does
up.
how does
Okay, so
that, how does that, the
I'll,
sentence, women hate men, help out to clear
Right.
up that situation. Like it doesn't
Okay,
at all, right?
women.
Like
Okay. It's shorthand for women don't like men as much as men like women. There's an attraction imbalance, or there's a demand imbalance between men and women. Men want to be with women far more than women want to be with men. Right?
but that
That's
doesn't seem to be the reality. Like I don't know like what concept you believe in, but it seems to suggest, the data seems to suggest that there is just men being left out of the dating pool. It's not that not
right.
that many women are being left out of the dating pool, and they are engaging in other heterosexual relationships. So they are not, they're
Okay.
still with men. Like it's not that you have like
Yes, but
most.
okay. Okay. So basically, that proves that women are not with men for innate attraction. Then are they? If they're
No, why?
deselecting lower status men and go for high status men, right?
It doesn't only have to be like, we
Okay.
haven't talked about that yet. Like it could also, like for
Okay.
some people.
Please let me finish.
Sure.
Okay. Attraction is innate. Attractions are pheromones and looks. Attraction triggers. There's studies that prove this. Are triggered almost instantly. So you like someone innately, male or female. They like someone innately looks wise, like right away, right? And it's the pheromones as well. Okay. Women, I believe, will deselect a good-looking man who's low status just because he's not high enough status. She'll be, oh, I'm attracted to him, but she'll control it and just move on to someone else, right?
But that
There's,
wouldn't explain, like even if I would grant you that, and I think that's a different topic, that wouldn't explain the current situation where just some men are being completely excluded from the dating market, and the rest of the men are basically sharing all the women basically in the dating market.
okay, okay.
And it's
There's
still
a lot,
men,
but
like
women
it's
are.
still men, like the women are not turning, like, wait, just one thing, like it's not like the women are saying no to men and then staying celibate or then becoming lesbians. They're turning to other
All
men,
right.
right?
No. Some of them are turning to other men, but women are having less sex than ever as well.
Yeah,
They're going
yeah,
about less
yeah,
than ever
but
because there's
that
no men
goes
that
for
meet the
all,
criteria.
that goes for both genders, and but it's
No, it doesn't go for both.
disproportionate.
No, because no, because it's basically women are choosing that, men are not. There's a difference.
Sure,
Like
it might be. It,
look, ugly fat women can go on Tinder and get a hookup same night, right? There's a demand imbalance. Women get men easily, so it's by choice. Men who are not getting any are not get. It's not by choice. That's the difference. It's not the same thing. They're not in the same situation.
but the thing that you're describing is, so first of all, like there's 2 points that are wrong here, that are problematic here. So the first point is that you're describing something happening over time, right? So you're basically talking about the last 10 20 years. So that would assume that basically women start to, like that there is a trend of women not wanting to sleep with men anymore. And I think there is reason to believe that. Like I think I've talked about this in the past. Like I think that women are
Yeah.
mostly attracted to men who are higher in most categories: height, strength, salary, status. Like that's what women
Status
seem
is the
to
most
be.
important thing.
Sorry,
Status is the most important thing.
it
It's
might
the
be. It doesn't
primary
matter. Like we
attraction.
don't have to get stuck on that. But it seems to be that there is a couple of there is a couple of criteria, and they seem to want someone to be better than them in many regards. Many women. So many
Okay.
women.
Okay.
Wait. It's a little bit more. I have to finish this point.
All right.
And it seems like that they have more and more difficulties finding men who are like higher in status and higher in like all of these
Yeah.
things. You know.
Hypergamy. It's
So
called
there,
hypergamy.
yeah, you could call it that. So, and then
Yeah.
that also means that women are less and less attracted to less men, right? But in
Okay.
that just reduces the amount of men that they find attractive in the dating market. But
It's
eventually,
not.
but
It's not attractive
wait
though.
wait but eventually there is still men on the dating market that they are very attracted to, and that they do want to date. So the
Okay.
idea to
Okay.
say that they're,
You're making a mistake there. You're assuming that all men date. The women are attracted to them. There's
wait
plenty of relationships with a woman who are attracted to the man. You do know that, right?
no, but that doesn't matter. Like the idea that because women are less, are choosing sex less, that means that they're
Yeah.
turned off by men and they don't want men. No, there is just less
It
men.
doesn't mean that.
There is just
It doesn't mean
wait,
it's
let me
turned off by
finish.
men.
There is just less men that they find attractive. Like, let's say you have like
But
100 women. Let's say
you're
you
making
have
a conflation there. You're
let's say
okay.
you have
You're
100
conflating.
women. Wait, sorry.
Please let me make this point. Please let me
Okay,
make this point because it's very
go ahead.
important.
Go
That
ahead.
you're conflating barrier. You're conflating barrier to entry or barrier to association with attraction, right? Women, due to hypergamy, or most women, they've got a barrier to entry. Like, can you interact with me? Can you socialize with me? Are you in my social circle? Right? It doesn't mean that the men who get filtered out, they would find physically unattractive. It's not the same thing. A working class man who's a plumber, right, is not going to be a bourgeoisie woman's social circle. Okay, right? It doesn't necessarily mean she finds that man unattractive. She's just not in his social circle in the first place, so he's getting filtered out and deselected from the start
Bro,
before he has a chance.
I think we're getting stuck on the wrong thing. The problem is
Right.
that the idea that what we are right now trying to like the argument that me and you have right now is not what determines the what makes a woman attracted to a guy. The thing that we are arguing for is it does it make sense to use the sentence women don't like men, that's why there is incels, when the reason why the guy is not getting a romantic partner is because she's attracted to another man. Like, it's
No,
not that
he's not
she,
getting. No. That's another mistake as well. It's not because he's attracted to another other man. It's because he's low status and he doesn't have a chance in the first place. He's deselected from the start because of his
but
status.
what does
There's
it
a
mean to
difference
be?
there.
Yeah,
Okay, let me give you an example. So there's two men, right? They're equal status, and the woman looks at both men, weighs them both up, and picks the other one because she finds him more attractive. But they're both millionaires, right? You could say there, right? She's picked him because he's more attractive, okay? But if one's a working class plumber, right? Okay, and he didn't even get to date her or associate with her, and she picks the other man who's a millionaire. That's nothing to do with he finds the other man more attractive. It's he fits a selection criteria, right? And he isn't deselected from the start.
bro, it doesn't
Okay,
matter what the criteria
it
is.
does,
It doesn't matter.
it does, it
No, but
does, it does. But
let
it's
me
not the
just
same thing,
give you another example. Like let's say we are asking ourselves why baguettes are not being bought, like, you know.
right?
And then I say because people don't buy bread, because people don't like bread, people hate bread. And then
Right?
you're like, bro, but they're buying like bunch of other bread, like all the other bread is sold out. Like,
Yes, but that's not.
wouldn't you like ask yourself like what the hell, like this explanation didn't make any sense.
Yeah, but the bread analogy doesn't work for personal relations. Women are hypergamous and they're social status orientated, and their social interactions are based on exclusion. Women want to be included, so therefore they
But bro,
exclude.
it's
Women want
way
the power
simpler
to
than that.
exclude.
Like, being an incel means being excluded, like not being picked in a dating market. Like, that's just
Yes, but
what
why are they
being.
not picked in the dating market? It's not that simple though. Why are they not being picked in the dating market?
I mean, just the structure of the sentence doesn't make sense. I don't even know. I don't even think we have to get into the like the. We could get into the empirical, like the actual
Okay.
things, but from a logical perspective, it doesn't make any sense to say that incels, i.e., men who are left out of the dating market, exist when because
Okay.
women don't like men. If other men are picking up these chicks.
Yeah, but women, just because those men are picking up those women, it doesn't mean those women like those men. Women marry men with plans to divorce them from the start. They're called starter husbands. Okay, that phenomenon does exist. Women even admit to it. Okay, do those women who get married and use those men and discard them, do they like those men?
Okay, so now we're basically into the second part of the discussion where we are talking about
No, no,
if.
okay, okay. Before we move on, because I think we've got to stick to certain things and not stray off. I'm going to explain to you what I think causes incels. I think we've got to get that out of the way first. Okay, what I think inceldom is, and we've got to look at history a little bit. Okay, over the past few hundred years. Okay, okay. So female mate selection. Okay, their choices have changed because of industrialization. Okay, in the past, women had less choice for various different reasons. One of them was desperation. Okay, if a woman's survival was based on selecting a man, right, to be provided for and to associate with. She's going to be less fussy, okay? And with industrialization, mechanization, the rise of the middle class, lots of safe office jobs, women getting access to the job market, it's, women getting access to the job market even over men. They've got more choices than men, right? In a lot of ways, or in most ways, or even in all ways, right? Okay. These women therefore have more choice. They don't have to hook up with a man to survive or thrive, right? If women if, if women are starting to out earn men and getting more educated than men, right? There's gonna be more men who are deselected, okay? Okay, female mate selection in the 19th century is going to be different from mate selection in the 21st century. Right? Women are more free than ever to choose what they want. Right? Do you understand what I'm getting at?
There is there is like 10%, 10-20% that I agree with, but I think there is more aspects to that. Like it's also about like you have culturally enforced monogamy through religion, and so at some
No,
point all the men
no.
are off the market. Like, bro, then let me just. You asked me if I agree with you. I can just name you the points where I don't agree.
Right,
um, so I think there is a couple of more aspects to it, but in general, like the
right.
idea that women rise in status in society is true, and that makes it more difficult for them to be attracted to men. Like that seems to be the case. That's what science basically, like that's what sociology says,
Again,
and and
you're
also
conflating, you're
and
conflating
also
select,
wait
you're conflating again. Right,
and
right.
also
Carry on.
yeah, and then also the idea that the most sought after men are never really off the market, and uh, monogamy being broken
Okay.
up into serial monogamy, that seems to be playing a role. But to be honest, I don't think that any of this matters for the question if woman
It does
hating
matter.
men, if women hate, no, I don't think so, because I don't think so because there is like plenty of analogies we could use for that example. Like if we agree that incels are men who are left out of the dating market, if we agree that
Yes.
that's an accurate description, do we agree on that?
It's men who are deselected. Yes.
Yes. So that uh, is analogous to a product not being bought, right?
No, because it's more complicated than that,
Yeah, but it's analogous.
right?
That's why we say it's analogous, right?
It, it, it's, it's
I'm
a
not
poor
saying it's the same. I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm just saying that
yeah,
that
yeah, but there's analogies that are good and there's analogies that are poor. It's a
no,
poor analogy.
but it's no, but it's something not selecting something else, right?
Okay,
So
right.
that's something. The first something is
But
woman, and the
can I
second. Wait,
can I make
wait,
an analogy?
wait. No. We have to go through this. Sorry, I just have to stick with this one really quick. So
Right.
we have this one something which is woman, and then we have this other something
Yeah.
which is a group of men. Okay, and this
Right.
the first something is not selecting the second something, and
Yes.
then we are saying it's because the first something, the woman, doesn't like the second something. That's why it's deselecting it. But then you're looking at what they're choosing instead. And then you're seeing that the second
Right.
something is the same as, like the
Yeah.
third something is the same as the second something. It's also men. So it's just like with the bread analogy. Like if you
No, but
say, why isn't
stop.
baguette
Stop.
being
You're
bought?
conflating again. You're conflating liking with selection. A woman is not necessarily selecting a man she likes. Harvey Weinstein, right, had groupies and women sending him love letters and women throwing himself at him, right? Okay, do you know that? Right? It
Oh
doesn't matter
yeah,
whether he was a
but
rapist or not. I don't think he was a rapist. I don't think he was a rapist. But even if he was a rapist, which I don't think he was, right? He had women throwing himself at him, right?
but
Okay.
we are not
Did those
talking
women
about
like
liking.
him?
Like
No, 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 no. All right, sorry, but I'm saying he was accused and convicted of being an abuser of women, right? They're getting overturned right now, but he was accused of that,
he
okay? But women were
but
still throwing himself at him, and I'm going to ask you: do you think those women innately liked him for who he was, or did
wait,
they like his status, his
wait,
money?
it gets too complicated with that.
It
Just
doesn't
as
get
a
too complicated. It's very simple. It's very simple. Did the
bro,
women like him for his status, or did they innately like him for who he was?
hang on. The idea with liking is not my idea. It's City Crusher who introduces the concept of liking and disliking. I am just asking
Oh,
him.
yes, you're overcomplicating it and
But I'm not.
obfuscating. Right.
I'm not introducing the concept of liking or hating. City Crusher is introducing that
Okay.
concept, right?
All
So
right. Okay.
he has to explain what liking and hating means.
I'm not. I'm not City Crusher. Okay.
Yeah, but
But I'm
you're
going to explain to
defending
you
him.
I'm going to explain to you my concept of liking. Okay. If a woman is getting married or hooks up with a pig-faced billionaire, right? Hooks up with him, but if that billionaire was in a different context and he was on a park bench homeless and the woman would ignore him, that woman does not innately like him no matter what. Doesn't matter if she hooks up with him one way or the other. That woman does not innately like him. Period. Whether he's a
I
billionaire or not.
I think
So,
we could.
so that means
I don't
that
agree.
selection does not necessarily mean the woman likes the man. You're conflating selection with liking.
No,
That's the
I'm
problem you're
not,
making here. Not necessarily.
bro. Please, you're not being fair here, because I am not
I'm being
you.
perfectly fair.
No, because I am not talking about liking or hating. City Crusher is saying that, and I am just saying that his explanation doesn't make sense. Like I am
I think
saying,
it does.
I,
If
I
women innately liked men, if women innately liked men, men would not have to have status to hook up with them, right? They wouldn't hypergamy would not be a thing. Women,
let's
men
say,
innately like women.
okay,
Men don't really care about the sex of a woman.
okay, bro. Let's break it down. To you, what
Right.
does it mean for someone to like somebody else? So what would you have to see
Like,
in order to say that?
what,
Wait. You think that men like women, right?
yes,
Okay. So
for the most
what
part.
is okay? What would you have to see in order to say that someone likes somebody else? Like just in general. Like
Right,
what's
fair enough.
the
It depends what like. So they respect them. They like them innately for they are. They don't mistreat them, exploit them, or use them.
so has wanting them as sexual partners anything to do with liking? Like would you say that it is in any shape or
Not
form?
necessarily. Not
Bro, you have to
necessarily.
let me finish. You have to let me finish asking my question at least, please. Like I want you to give, I want to give you
Right.
the space also, like to talk about. I want to hear the answer, you know. But I need you to let me
Okay.
finish asking the question. So what
Okay.
would you have to see, like if you see someone asking someone deselecting someone sexually, like would that be a sign of
Right.
liking, or would that be a sign of disliking, or does that play
It,
any
it,
role at all?
it plays a role, but it's not a 100% correlation, right? A woman could like someone, a man, and not want to sleep with him, right? Okay, like women have like gay friends or their male friends they don't sleep with, right? Okay, and also a man. Let's use this analogy. Let's say there's a man, right, who hates women and has girlfriends and beats them all the time, right? Let's say he's an abusive, hypothetical situation, but he finds them sexually attractive. He has a girlfriend, he beats and mistreats her. Does that mean he likes her? Do you see what the problem the word like now?
Bro, the problem, I'm yeah, I see the problem. Like there is a huge problem with the word like,
Yes.
because it
Okay.
assumes, but
Okay.
I'm not the one introducing the word like, right? I am attacking
Okay.
someone
Well, the
giving
thing is,
that as an explanation. I am attacking that,
okay,
giving bro, I'm
it's shorthand
attacking.
language.
Sorry.
It's shorthand language, right? It's just everyday language, like, dislike, love, hate, right?
No, but they love other men. They love other
They
men.
don't necessarily. Some of them do, some of them don't. There's plenty of women, right?
But bro, do
Who,
you see how, like,
okay,
for an incel,
okay,
for an actual incel,
yeah.
he would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "I am being
Well, it's not going to
deselected.
be.
I'm being
Yes,
deselected from the dating market, from a romantic dating
yes,
market, from the sexual
yeah,
dating market, from every dating market you can
yes,
imagine. Okay, I'm being
yes,
deselected, and this guy
yes.
and I'm being deselected while the same woman that I want is sleeping with somebody else, and you're telling me they're
Yes.
not interested in men. Like he doesn't give a fuck, like
The,
about.
the, the, the thing is, women sleep with men and then break relationships up with them all the time after they got the use out of them, or they monkey branch onto other men. They're not innately interested in the men, right? They're
But
interested in their status. Do you think?
bro,
I can ask you a question. Let me honestly ask you a question. If Elon Musk had an income of 15,000 a year, dollars a year, do you think he would have impregnated 11 different women? Yes
would
or
you
no?
consider, okay, would you consider Elon Musk an incel?
No.
Then what are we talking
But I'm
about?
asking a question. Do
Then
you
what are we
think
talking about?
no, what
Like
am I
then
talking
even if
about?
bro
Talking
bro
about? Yeah,
bro
no. It's pertinent to it's permanent to
bro
the main issue. It's permanent to the main issue, right? Context.
even if a woman uses a guy for status and looks and whatever you can name, even if he does
Yeah.
use the man, he would stop being an incel by our both of our definitions, right? So the sentence doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense because my definition incel has nothing to do with that. You can't have an incel mindset, right?
bro
Even if you
bro
believe in incel ideology, even if
bro
you incel ideology, you can't have an incel mindset. I don't know what an incel mindset is.
bro, even if I grant you everything
You're,
that you're saying, like let's say I grant you
you're,
that women are just interested in status and monkey branching, blah blah. Like even if I grant you all of that, right? A guy
yes,
who is an incel, right?
yeah,
He would be
yes,
totally he's saying, okay, I want to be like, we are asking ourselves, why is he not getting laid? And you are saying
yes.
because women don't like men. Like that doesn't make any sense because
No, I
they
don't
are being
say
outcompeted by other men in terms of like this bribe, let's say,
yes,
in your
yes, but
logic.
they don't. If women innately liked men at the same level men liked women, men would not have to get status. That's pretty obvious, right? There's a liking differential between men and women. Men like women far more than women like men, and there's plenty of women who dislike men and date. I've seen women on dating websites. They link you to you can go to the social media profile and they go men are trash. Or there's women who tweet kill all men, right?
What is
Or,
why couldn't I
there's hardcore feminists who want men dead, who date men, who have heterosexual relationships. Come on, you
why
can't
can't
claim just that
why
women
can't I
dates
make the
men.
same? Are you done? Okay. Why can't I make the same claim about men just selecting for looks? Men
Men
don't
don't just
actually
look. The thing,
men don't
men,
actually like women. Men just like pretty women. Men,
the problem of that is dating site date. There's plenty of the suppressed dating got rid of it. All right, Plenty of Fish did a study. Or was it okay? It's okay, Cupid. They did a study that showed that women were actually far more selective when it comes to looks.
mhm.
Okay, men were actually far less fussy. Men come to terms with
Yeah,
their,
but it's a
if you
bigger
want to call it
criteria.
market value.
But
No,
that's
no, but
only
men are
the,
more willing to settle when it comes to looks. If
bro.
they can't
That's
get a
only in
good-looking
a.
woman, they'll go for a less good-looking woman. And they'll still fall in love with her as
That's
well, from what I've noticed.
you
Like men
can you
still
can look at studies. You can look at studies about what the primary reasons for selecting a partner is, and for men, looks are like way like at top three, I think, or
yeah.
even the first one. And for
Looks
women,
is
it's
not
at like at number 10 or something like that. And on dating sites, it's all about looks. So it would like just them then being more. I've already talked about this. It's a little bit more complicated than that. We can go into that if you want, but
okay,
still,
but
it
you're
doesn't.
obfuscating.
Why am I obfuscating? It
You're
still
you're
doesn't
confusing the
explain
issue.
saying that they don't like men by because you say they need to get bribed and blah 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 doesn't make any sense because they're selecting other
Okay,
men. Period.
okay.
So
Let me
even
ask
if
you a
they
simple
then they
question.
like the
Okay,
bribe.
so are you claiming if a woman dates a man that she likes that man, that she likes men? Are you claiming that?
I've given a definition of liking something or
Okay,
someone.
but
Like the more
all
it's
right.
obviously
So
like it's a spectrum where you can like more or less someone, okay? And I think that
okay,
the more characteristics you like about someone, the more you actually like that person, like, or that something, okay?
okay,
So if you only like, let's say like let's say you only like the money of a person, I would
yeah,
say you like that person less, like way less than someone who likes that
yeah,
person for his personality. And there's obviously like
yeah.
differences in the weight of the characteristics, we would say, like
Okay.
stuff that
The
is
thing is,
more wait stuff that is more innate to that person, like a character, like a character trait, which is something really innate to you, is more valuable in terms of
okay.
determining whether you like that person or not. So and
Uh,
yeah.
Physical attraction is based on looks and pheromones, right?
Bro, you're
Okay.
asking me
So
these
are
like you're asking me these
you,
highly complicated, like scientifically highly complicated questions that are not
it's not
that are not necessary at all.
They are
Like
useful. They are necessarily because it's in the context of liking. Okay, women will ignore men they find them physically attractive. They like the pheromones if they're low status. They'll just maybe at the best they'll have a one night stand with them, right? So you could say, oh, they like them in that regard, but they don't like them for relationships. Women wanting relationships with men, those relationships does not necessarily mean those women like those men. They respect their humanity. Women who divorce, rape. There's men who get
But
parentally
bro,
alienated. There's men who get parentally alienated by women. You don't get to see the kids again, right?
but
They get
all of the
tortured and
things you're
tormented.
mentioning, but all of the things that
On
you're
top of
mentioning,
being men.
all of the things that you're mentioning would be totally fine for an incel to not be an incel anymore. Do you see the
Yeah,
problem
but
there? Like,
I
do you
don't see the
see
problem with it.
how
Because
like
women,
the problem
okay,
is that
again,
you're basically not addressing the topic. Like, you're talking about
I
something
am
totally
addressing the
different.
topic.
No, because you
I'm
would like all of the things that you're complaining about would totally solve an incel's problems. Like, no one in society would call him an incel anymore if you would get like a highly transactional
okay.
relationship where he's just being used for his
Oh,
money.
oh,
He
oh,
wouldn't be an incel
yeah,
anymore.
but the most relationships are transactional between men and women.
Yeah, but then it doesn't make any sense to talk about it in the context of incels.
Well,
Do you
the
see the
incels have got
problem?
most incels. Yeah, but the problem is the incels' worldview. Their worldview based on looksism is wonky. It doesn't make
Bro, but that's a
sense.
completely different topic. We don't care about that right now.
It,
Like, we can I agree with you, like I agree with you about that. I'm obviously against incel
right.
ideology, but the topic at hand is right now, like, why do men exist that are left out of the dating market according to you, City
Okay.
Crusher? Okay? That's
No,
the
no,
question that we're looking at. Wait. That's the question that we're
no, I'm
looking
gonna
at. And the
answer it.
question, no,
Rather,
wait, you have to
let
let me
me ask the
finish.
question. No, let me ask the
No,
question.
no, no,
I
no,
want to
no,
answer the
no,
question then. I'm going to answer the question first. Then you
no,
can
no, no, no,
because
no. I don't want you to
no,
answer
you
the
don't answer the
question. You've
question.
already answered the
Low
question a
status
million times
men,
and you were
low
not able
status
to
men.
answer it.
I answered it. Low status men can't get girlfriends. They're too low status to get a girlfriend or wife. They're too low status. That's the simple answer. It's based
Sure,
on
that's
status.
that's an acceptable,
Okay.
look, that's an acceptable
Yeah.
answer. That's a totally
Yes.
acceptable answer. And I'm not against, like,
Yes.
if you would tell me that, I would start arguing against that answer, because I think like there's other facts that like then we could get into an empirical argument, right, about
Right.
like whether that's the case or not, and then you could cite some studies and I could cite some studies and blah 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 blah, right?
Right.
Then we could have a conversation.
Okay.
But the problem that I'm having right now is that he's just saying women don't like men. And then I'm like,
But
bro, that doesn't explain the situation at hand. Like, that just like, even like we don't even have to
it's
get into
shorthand.
the, no, it just nonsensical because they're choosing other
It's
men.
not nonsensical. But they don't like the other men to choose. Again, you're conflating selection with liking. If a woman selecting a man could be status, doesn't mean that woman likes that man. You're repeating that same mistake over and over again. Women did not like Harvey Weinstein. They falsely accused him of stuff, right? Okay, like you get these like Warren Ellis, a comic book writer and a TV show writer,
Okay,
right?
wait,
He
wait.
is a short. He's no. I want to digress. I want to get into this because it's important. This is a good example. Warren Ellis is a short, ugly Scottish man who looks like a blob, and he had groupies. He had multiple women, right? And then those women turned around and falsely accused him of stuff and got him fired from his job, and he lost his status. Okay? Did those women like him? They slept with him. He had multiple groupies. He had women throwing himself at him because he was famous. Did those women
Bro,
like him?
you seem to be way more capable in terms of having a meaningful conversation. So I'm not going to start getting into like random examples, like, because it's not an analogy. If you're asking me that, it's not
It's
analogous
not
to
an
the
analogy, but it's
situation
an example.
at all.
It's examples that happen all the time. It's
Let me
everywhere
ask you
in
something.
relationships.
Let me ask you a question. So
Yeah.
let's assume, like, just in a hypothetical world, like, let's assume that women don't go for status at all. Let's say they go only for looks, okay? That they only go for
Yes.
the best looking men, okay?
Yes.
For the top 20 best looking men. And all
Yes.
the other ones, they're being basically left out of the dating market, right? So in that scenario, if we would believe that, like, would it make any sense for me to for City Crusher to say, because women don't actually like men, they just use them for their looks? Would that make any sense?
No, I don't believe in using them for their looks. I don't know. No, I don't know.
But let's
Attraction
say,
is
but can you
innate.
can you can you
It's,
imagine, like, can you imagine that a world where this is the case?
yeah, well, it's more honest, right?
No,
Let me
would
give you an
it make
example.
any
There's
sense? Like, would the answer make any sense? to say that men
Okay.
don't like women and women don't like
N-
men.
No, but the thing is, women, it's not just whether you get with them or not, it's the way women treat men in relationships and out of them as well. This whole
Bro,
context that
don't
you're
try to
ignoring.
prove to me, that women don't like men, because that's not the topic that we're talking about. The topic we're talking
What are
about,
we talking about?
if we're talking about if the sentence women don't like men is a meaningful, reasonable explanation for the situation that a certain percentage of men are being left out of the dating market. That's the question
Yes,
that we're
I think,
analyzing.
yeah,
And
I think it's decent. It's a decent comment. Yes,
it
if
makes no
women
s-
like men,
but
it does make sense.
but the thing that you're saying is basically because the relationship is transactional, that's
Yes,
why, like, because they don't actually genuinely like men, that's why
yes.
men are being left out,
Yeah,
right?
if women like men, if women like men at the same level that men like them, men would not be getting deselected for their status.
Okay, so if the relationship would not be transactional, they would never be left out, basically. That's what you're saying, right?
Well, it depends. Like, if women became hyper fussy about looks and we went for looks, maybe ugly men would be left out. But it doesn't necessarily mean women hate ugly men, right?
Wait, say again. Wait, can you just say yes or no to that? Like,
Okay.
if the
Because
relationship
the
between
thing
men
is, no,
and
no, no, no,
wait,
no,
no, I ask you a
I'm not going to
question.
do.
I asking you a
I'm not going
question.
to do.
I'm asking you a question. Very simple question. You believe that,
Yeah.
like, the City Crusher answer is meaningful because it points out that the relationship between man and woman is very transactional, and that's why men are being left out. And I'm telling you, like, look at monogamous relationships in the past where there was forced cultural monogamy, where the relationship was highly
Okay, we're going to have to go into
transactional,
that.
where
Yes.
relationships were highly transactional, there were no insults.
Yes. Okay.
Correct?
Let's talk about.
So it makes no
Okay.
sense.
There's always going to be there's no incels. There's less deselected men, and there was no concept of
Which is,
incel.
we have agreed that that's incels. Deselected men are
Yes,
incels.
but
We've both
okay.
agreed that that's
There's
the
always,
case, right?
there's always been deselected men though. There's just less of them. Okay.
Bro, yeah, but that's what
It,
we're
it,
talking about. Like, we're talking about, when we're talking about an epidemic, like, we're talking about why is
okay.
there right now an epidemic of incels.
Okay. You can't have it both ways. You can't speak in absolute terms, right? And want to speak in absolute terms. But when I speak in absolute terms, or City Crusher speaks in absolute terms, you want to object. You want to have nuance. Okay.
Okay,
You
okay,
said
okay.
there was no incels in the past.
Sure,
Okay. That's not true. There's always been
sure,
deselected men. There's always been deselected men. Okay.
sure.
Men
So
had to do.
so
Okay. Men
so
had to
so
do
what
less
you're
to be
saying is,
deselected.
I should have been more precise when I say why do incels exist, that I actually mean
Okay.
why are we now having an incel epidemic, right?
Okay. Because men
No, no,
need
no,
women
wait,
less
wait, answer my
directly.
question. Like, is that what you mean?
Ask the question again. All right, well, ask the question again because you confused me. Just ask it again.
Okay, I'm asking you, do you right now tell me that the criticism that you have is that I should have said, instead of why do incels exist, I should have asked why do we have an incel epidemic right now? Is that your criticism?
No.
Because, man, come on, like, what are we
Okay.
talking about then?
Okay.
Like, bro,
Okay.
it's really point for point. It's really easy. So you are saying that his answer makes sense because
Yes.
it points out the transactional nature of women's attraction to men, right? That's what you're saying.
Okay. It's not. It's a transactional nature of their
Man, you need to
association. Women.
you need to
Women
be
will
more
deselect
yes
men.
and no.
I don't need to be more yes and no. If you're gonna have
Yes.
nuance,
But
right?
that, because
I'm gonna have nuance.
I'm just repeating what you're saying. Like,
Okay. But you're making
I'm
this.
saying that his
I think you're
I'm
making this. I think you're making this unnecessarily complicated. Women.
it's not complicated. I'm
There's.
just trying to understand what you are saying. Like, I'm saying that his explanation
Okay.
doesn't make any sense. You're
Yeah.
saying it makes sense because it's clumsy, but it's expressing the transactional nature of man and woman's relationship, right?
There's an attraction and demand imbalance between men and women. It's always been there. Men have to earn women, right?
Man,
Women
I'm
don't
not
have to earn
asking you
men.
about the facts of the matter. I'm not asking you about, like, empirical facts. I'm
What-
just asking you about what you said in this conversation. I'm not asking you about the science of the things. I'm just asking, did I represent what you said fairly, or did I misrepresent it? If I misrepresented it, correct me.
You're confusing me now. To be honest, I think
Okay,
what I'm
let
saying
me.
pretty clear.
Okay, can I repeat? Can I just wrap this up, like, that you are back on track and can, without
Right.
confusion, give me an answer? Okay, so from the start. Okay, we
Okay.
calm down. I don't want to stress you out. I don't want to confuse you. Okay,
Right, I'm not
so
stressed.
okay,
I'm not
cool,
stressed.
great. So City. I'm asking City Crusher, why do incels exist? He's saying because
Right.
women don't like men, and I'm saying that
Yeah.
statement doesn't make any sense because they are selecting other men. We're talking about deselected men
Yeah.
who are being where
Right.
the women that deselect them select other men. Then you
Yeah.
are saying
Yeah.
that his answer does make sense to a certain extent because it is
Yeah.
expressing the transactional nature because of which the woman deselect the men. So you're saying, in a way, he is giving a meaningful response because he's saying the transactionalness of the relationship between from woman to man is causing
Okay.
men being deselected. Is that a correct
No,
representation of what you are
no,
saying?
no, no.
No.
What I'm
Okay. Well,
saying,
why
no,
is his
listen,
wait? Why
can
is
I explain,
his
please?
statement
No, let me
meaningful?
explain. Let me explain. Please let me explain. Please let me explain. Okay. What I'm pointing to, I'm not pointing to the transactional nature. The transactional nature is a hint of something. It points to something. What I'm pointing to is the attraction and association imbalance. Men are more willing to associate with women than women to associate with men. That's what I'm pointing to, right? That means women like men less than men like women. Do you understand now?
No, I think that's a different point. But go ahead. Like I explain that a little bit more.
Okay.
I don't really understand what you mean by that. Like what does it mean to want to associate?
Okay. Because there's an attraction and a liking imbalance between men and women, right? A desire to associate, okay? Men have to earn women and have to gain status. That proves, or that points to, it seems to point to women liking men less than men liking women. Do you
But
disagree with that?
it doesn't explain. You're not explaining anything. Like you're just stating the same fact, like the
Okay.
same quote unquote fact that he's stating. You're just saying women don't like men, basically, and that wouldn't
Okay. Okay.
explain.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
wait, wait, wait,
Okay.
wait, wait. I have to answer to what you're saying. So
Okay.
basically, if that would be the case, that would only make sense if they would stop hanging out with men, if they would start becoming lesbians or celibate.
No, because again, women can have sex with men, they can associate with men and still not like them.
Yeah, but then you're pointing to the transactional nature.
Okay.
That's what I was.
Right. Don't knock on my door.
That's how I
Just
steel meant
give
your
me a second.
position like 5 minutes
Just give me
ago,
1 minute.
and you said it's not that.
Sorry, I've got a knock. Wait. Someone's knocking on my door. Okay,
Sure,
I'll be right back. Just
sure,
give me 1 minute.
sure. No worries.